So now we've got our print, what we need to do next is mount that print onto some mount board so it looks professional. We can enter that into competitions or exhibitions or give it to a friend or whatever we're going to do with our mount. So what we need to do is sort that process out. We are going to need a few bits and pieces to do this. We're going to need, first of all, a print. I've got one here. This is of the lovely Rebecca. And we are also going to need a ruler so we can measure things, a pen so we can draw some lines. We are going to need some mount board. This is mount board, and I'm going to use black mount board for this image. I think it'll look quite good. Put that back over there for a second. Next bit's optional to make the back look tidy. A backboard, and if we're going to put a backboard on, we're going to need some double-sided sticky tape. So they're the things we're going to need, and the first thing we're going to do is we're going to use our ruler to work out how big this hole has got to be in our mount board so that the image can nicely be seen through the mount board. To do that, I am using a spreadsheet that we've created. It's on the Chorley Photographic Society website. That's chorleyps.org, and you can download that for free. And what that looks like is this. You just go to the website, download it. That will download, and then you can just open up the spreadsheet there. Now, the spreadsheet is quite simple to operate. What we basically have to do is put in the size of the mount board, and I know the mount board is a standard size mount board, so that's going to be 500 wide by 400 high. Next thing we need to do is to measure the aperture that we want in the mount board. So we take our ruler and we measure that, and I get that to be 350 wide. This is where I want my hole to be, and I'm going to do the full height of the image. Did print the image a little bit big for this purpose, and that's going to be 285 high. 285. Okay, now what that does is that tells me that the aperture needs to be cut in 75 from left and right and 57.5 from the top and bottom. So let's put our image somewhere safe. Let's pop that over there, and let's get our mount board. What I'll do is I'll shift the camera a little bit so you've got a much better view as to what I'm doing actually on the cutter. So we've got here our mount board, and we've got our mount cutter. This is a Logan Compact Elite. It's a great product. I kind of love it. It's does everything I need it to do, and it's reliable and it's consistent, and that's the main thing. And I've had very few errors here that have been caused by the mount cutter itself. Most of the errors that I have are caused by the operator, that's me, making the cuts in the wrong place. So I think this is why I use this little spreadsheet now. So the first thing we're going to do is take our mount board, we're going to flip it over onto the back, and so we're working on the back side of the mount board, and we're looking at our spreadsheet. The top and bottom cut was at 57.5, so if I use this scale here, and then just going to move that along to 57.5, and I'm going to lock that off. Okay, just using these two nuts here. I'm going to lift up the board. I'm going to put the mount board in, put the cover down, make sure that's nice and tight against the back, a little bit of pressure on, and I'm just going to draw a line across there. And then I'm going to roll it round, do the other side, once again, hold it in, nice and firm. Don't be too rough with it, because we don't want to put any marks on the on this side, because if we do scratch, it will take the surface off this side of the mount board. So we've got our two lines there. That's the top and bottom. Next we need left and right, and back to our spreadsheet. That's the 75. So once again, I'm going to take this, going to move it along, and I'm going to bob that on 75. I'm going to turn it through 90 degrees now. Put that back on the mount board. I'm just going to hold it relatively firm, but not so tight as you're going to scratch the board. Hold it nice and tight. There we go. And then what I always do, I always take my image and I always have a quick shufty to make sure that, yep, that's right, and looking at that, that's also right, because I wanted a little bit of black off the other side. I've measured that a bit earlier. So that's the size of the hole we're going to have. Now, the next tool we need is this. This is the cutting blade. Once again, it's a Logan. It's actually made specifically for this product, and it has a little blade that pops down, and that blade, as you can probably see, is at 45 degrees. The other thing we need is a little piece of card, a little scrap piece of mount board I use quite a lot. And what this does is when we put the mount board on, so we're going to put the mount board on here in a moment, just like that. We're still on 75, so we're still on this edge. I'm going to drop that over. Once again, push it back in. What that piece of card underneath does is it gives the blade something to dig into on the other side of the board, which means it stops any kind of just scuffing of the surface on the inside, because what we need on the other side of the board, where the blade pops through, is want a really nice clean cut. And if the card hasn't got another piece of card or something just to push up against it, you can sometimes get a bit of a rough cut. Now you'll notice on the back of this little cutter device, there is a little line. So let me use that would touch. Cool. There is a line, and that line shows us where the blade is going to go in. There's also a little groove on the mount cutter, and that clips onto there like that, so it runs up and down really consistently. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to push it back across here, and I'm going to line the line up with the line I made with the pen, just about there. I'm going to hold it nice and firm. I'm going to press the blade down and then move it across, just to the point where the other line meets. I just got a couple of millimeters past it, and then I'm going to lift it off, lift up the lid, turn it around, drop it down. All these lines are to really guide us with this, with the cutting blade, so that we don't go way astray. You can afford to go a little bit over. Let's do that again. We're pushing it down. Just being really careful at this end. We don't get too carried away. It's a couple of millimeters past, and then there we go. So now we've got a cut on either side of this image. Next thing we need to do is let's go back to our first measurement, which is 57.5. So I'm going to set my scale to 57.5. There we go. That's that. Once again, piece of black card, or any colour card. It doesn't matter what colour the card is, actually, to be fair. It's just a piece of card. On there it goes. Down goes the cover. Once again, push it in so it's nice and square at the back. Hold it nice and tight, and then line it up on that side. Press the blade in, and across we go. Nice and easy, but nice and firm. And then just push it over the line. Now if I'm looking out, when I lift this card up, it will kind of flop out. There we go, it's kind of flopped out. I'm going to push that back onto there, once again making sure our card is underneath to give it that support underneath the cut. I'm going to push it back in nicely so it's nice and square. Bring it back across here. Lined up on that line, in goes the blade. Across we go. As I get towards the end, I take a little bit more care. Firm, but slowly. There we go. And now if I pick this card up, the inside should stay on the table. There we go. So that's that done. That's my hole cutting the mount. This bit here, we don't need that anymore. That can go. And we are good now to start the final part of our mounting process. So here's our mount board. Obviously the next thing we need is our image. I'll turn that around so it's visible on that side. Put the image down on the table. First thing we do is to mount the image onto the mount board. A few different people have shown me different ways to do this over the years. I use the old trusted method of sellotape. So what I'm going to do there is just put a little bit of sellotape under that corner, and then a little bit of sellotape under the other corner, like that. So I've got two pieces of sellotape pointed upwards on both sides. I'm going to take my mount board and I'm just going to roughly put that over the top so I can see exactly where it's going to go, and then I'm just going to lay it down slowly so that I don't get it uneven. Oh, that was wrong. There we go. Just like that. Now, because the sellotape on both sides of this, I know that if I put my hand there and give it a nice firm press, and my hand here and give a nice firm press, the image is actually going to start to stick to the back of the mount board. I'm going to turn it over nice and quietly like that. Good. You can see now we've got the basic level of stickiness. The image is kind of tacked to the back. What I need to do now is use my sellotape just to finish off and sellotape that in. But as you can see, I've run out of tape. So if you just hang on a second, I shall magic some more. Right, there we go. So there's our tape, as if by magic appeared. People kind of use all sorts of strange or expensive products to do this. I don't, I just use sellotape, and as you can see I'm just putting a strip down each side, just hold it on nice loosely and then just run my finger down it to secure it. I'll do the same on both ends. So there we go, that's our image now, quite nicely secured in the mount. If I was not going to use a backboard, I would probably go to the edges with the sellotape. I am going to use a backboard, so there's no real need, as long as it's got a good amount of sort of sellotape across that to secure it. Next thing we're going to need is our backboard, and here it is. So here's our backboard, and here's our double-sided sticky tape. And the trick now is to stick that on there so that it is nice and even, just like that. Now, some people use all sorts of strange products to do this. I'm aware of people that use spray mount, which personally I'm not a great fan of. It tends to get everywhere as well as being on the image. I've even heard of people using glue, but I tend to use double-sided sticky tape. So I've got the big pair of scissors here actually, and this is my favourite big pair of scissors, just to chop the end off. And I should put a nice long strip relatively close to the edge, but not on the edge, on that side. A nice long strip, once again quite close to the edge but not on the edge, down that side. Oops. And then a smaller strip down the middle there, and then a smaller strip just down the middle there. I'll just put that back on my tape so that it doesn't get all stuck up. And then the tricky part now, as anybody who uses double-sided sticky tape would know, is getting these things, getting the second side of it off. And I find this to be quite a tedious process because sometimes I really make a mess of it. If you give it a bit of a rub with your fingernail first, it can sometimes help. There we go, that's two. Can I get three? There we go, that's number three. And then finally this last one down here. There we go, that's number four. Now, so this is now sticky, and I'm going to now place this piece of mount board magically onto the back. This, of the whole process, I find to be the most single tricky part of it, because to get it exactly lined up nice and easy on all four edges, I just find it quite difficult. So I start at this edge, and I always start the edge away from me, and I line it up as best I can. I've got my fingers just on the edges there, and I get it lined up, I get lined up and lined up, and then I kind of just push it in a little bit and then just kind of let it fall. It's a messy, tricky job, but somebody has to do it. I think that's about right. I've not pushed it yet because I just let it drop on, and then what you do is once it's in a happy position, once it starts to stick, you're really going to struggle to move it. But if you just drop it on very lightly, you might be able to move it a little bit, and then because we know where the sticky tape is, we can just stick it around, and there we have our mounted image. Because this image is going into a club competition, there is one final piece of work to be done. And this is it. We need to place on it a sticker. The sticker goes in a very consistent place, so if this is our image, turn the image over, the sticker will go there. And this is the image for Rebecca, so what I'm going to do, this is why I've got a large pair of scissors now, you'll see. Because I don't print onto sticker labels, I print onto a sheet, because my look at printing sticker labels is not brilliant, to be fair. What I tend to do is get the sticker going across two labels, which just looks a mess. So I kind of take the easy way out and print onto a sticker label, and then I will just separate that from there. I'm sure you don't need any instruction at all onto how to stick a sticky label onto a piece of card, but just for completeness, there it is. And that is a mounted image, all ready to go into an exhibition, give to your friend to frame, or in this case go into a club competition. So that's it. That's the image all ready to go. So thank you very much for watching. Thanks for your time. I hope you've learned something. Yeah, hopefully you'll enjoy this video and the next one or the other ones that come along in our channel. Please do subscribe to Chorley Photographic Society's YouTube channel. There's a little button, I think it's down there somewhere, that allows you just to click and subscribe, and then you'll get notified of all the other videos that we publish. Also, if you've not seen the videos on how to resize your images or prepare your images for competitions, and then please check out the other videos on our channel. There are a few to look at. Until next time, thanks very much. Goodbye.